Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token Channel. Your host Superman in the house. We're going to have a great show today. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys like fun, this is going to be fun. Now, the first half of the show, we're going to be covering PulseChain, the markets, stock market, crypto market, Hex, Hedron, all our favorites. Since this is a maxi channel, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And what else did I say? We're going to cover it. We're going to get paid at the end of the day. With our beautiful T-shares. We're going to get our Hex Daily Stats update hot off the press because we basically live stream over that period, and of course when the UTC day changes, so it's pretty cool. The second half of the show, though, we may have a special guest on to talk about a very exciting yet potentially controversial product. We're going to talk about that later on. Stay tuned for that. If you are here, because it's going to be pretty exciting. We'll find all about that, and that's a surprise for later on. Maybe you might guess it in the chat, but we'll find out. All right, so let's get into it. It's going to be a great show. And don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, share the channel around as well. PulseChain, Hex, PulseX, we're a maxi channel, but we do cover a lot of cool things like in crypto, and of course the Bitcoin and Ethereum have been pumping. We're going to talk all about that too, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see who is in the house. We got Lies Beneath, always brings us the alpha, and of course, how are you today? Very good, Lies Beneath, and of course, Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX, and incentive token for the win, 100%. And I do think incentive token is going to do pretty well. So all those liquidity farmers and speculators going to love that. We got Brendan in the house there. Morning, Superman and family. Good to see you. We got PulseBot in the house with the fire burning. Love that. Good to see PulseBot in the house. The first Sacrifice project, of course, to launch, and pretty exciting to see that. Still rolling out their roadmap, and pretty cool. So welcome, PulseBot. What else there? We got Blobfish King. Good morning, everybody. Is this the start of a real bull run or a fake out for now? Yeah, we're going to check that out later. In fact, what have I got? I've got to make sure I've got the right page up there. I think I got the wrong one there. Let me just, you guys can't see it, but let's make sure I've got the right page. There we are. That's a bit better. All right, so let me just jump over. We've got Blobfish King. G'day, Lies. Big shout out. Man, Lies is popular in the chat there. Look at that. Lots of Lies support there, Lies. Congratulations. MJB Crypto in the house. You guys are going to be interested to hear in PLS IOU. Please be open-minded and at least consider its value and provide it and what it provides. Is that a Blues Clues? Who knows? Welcome anyway to the chat there, MJB Crypto. Who else is in here? We've got Brennan. Hex needs to close above 7.7 cents on the daily for trend reversal. So we'll have a look at that when we get up to the Hex price. It's going to be fun too. Sandy Beach in the house. PSI as well. Hello, everybody. I can finally listen to a stream live. Nice one, PSI. Great to see you as well. And Katie in the house there. Hey, all. Good to see you, Superman. Let's go. 100%. Pump up the jams. I like that. I wish I had that song, Pump Up the Jam, but I don't. That would have been quite cool at that point in time. Genuine as well. Good to see Genuine. Good morning, family. Good to see you, Genuine. And, of course, hello, Hex Token, everybody from Sandy Beach. Sandy Beach, I think, is a moderator on this channel and a community leader in our, a moderator in our Discord. But Sandy is actually not only a rising influence on Twitter, but also, I think, a moderator on probably more channels than more influencers in the PulseX space than anybody. I'm just trying to think. Let me know in the chat if there's anyone else. I guess there's probably a few people, but Sandy Beach, I think, is probably on more than anybody. So a big shout out to Sandy Beach for all you do for the community. Hex Force 1 as well. Sup, Superman. Let's go. 100%. I got to keep track on the time today. And let's jump through some of this. Sandy says, I like fun. Yeah, it's going to be a fun show. Let me just go through some of these. So much for drama-free, Superman. Now, this channel is a drama-free channel, so always be polite in the channel. We are drama-free, so there's not going to be any drama from my point of view. But it's also a family channel, so try to keep it family channel today. We like to look at things objectively with an open mind, so stay tuned for that. That's this channel. If you like drama, there's plenty of other channels in the PulseChain Hex ecosystem that you can go watch drama shows. Pudding Guru in house there. No golf today. Tuning in instead, says Pudding Guru. Oh, that's a shame. Good round of at least half a game of golf. That's pretty good. You've got to be pretty fit for a full game of golf, don't you? You have to be pretty fit for that. Christian's in the house. Yo. What's good, family? Good to see you. Brazology is in the house as well. J-Man's in the house, and the house is getting full, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, won't even get a horn. We got no horn anymore because I'm not using EV Mux now. We're back on to StreamYard. They do have custom profiles. Zen to the moon, Mars. Sorry, Zen to Mars is in the house there. Hex, hit the like button. Definitely smash the like button. Who else has jumped in here? I'm going to Crypto Tycoon's here. Hello, Hex family. Good to see Crypto Tycoon. But Finesse as well. Bull run or not, Eventually, actually, it's capture inflation better than everything ever created. And that, my friends, is absolute gold. Absolutely Hex is a tremendous. Get those T-shares while you can. What's up, Hexicans? Tin Tops in the house. Man, we got so many cool people in the chat there. It's overload. It's overload. I'm overloading. But I cannot handle it. It's crazy. I'm going to craze. I'm going to blow up. But it's pretty cool to see everybody in the chat there. Thomas Turner as well in there with the beach. And John Favel in the house. Hello to you as well, John. First time I've seen you in the chat, actually. Good to see you, John. And Archipelago in the house as well. Hi, all. Very, very cool. Tim Top says, a non-dysfunctional family channel, people. Sandy Beach is watching your eyes. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it, folks. Where are we up to? We're going to jump over to PulseChain first. PulseChain's, normally I cover PulseChain in quite depth. You know, PulseChain testnet V3. I normally do a decent coverage every day. We're going to be going through it a bit faster today. Just got to keep a track of the time. And let's see. Oh, we've got Scott Jackson in the house there. Morning. Oh, good morning, Scott. All right, let's bring it up. And, of course, here we are on PulseChain testnet V3. We're expecting V4 this week. But this week is marching forward. But I was saying to you guys that it probably Saturday or Sunday, US time. And it's already Saturday here in Kiwiland at the bottom of the world. Yeah, so we've still got a couple of days up our sleeve. And, of course, we're expecting the main update we're expecting is the inflation adjustment for the validators to make them more competitive with Ethereum. You know, and the numbers given by Richard were like a 10x in validators up to 40,000 with a 3% at least APY, and that's kind of makes it competitive. I think there will be, you know, things like liquid staking stuff, delegating and things like that built on top that people will fork protocols on Ethereum to provide delegation type of opportunities, and where people host hardware and they give all that sort of stuff. People can take those tokens as well and liquid stake tokens, just like staked ETH, and then go earn extra rewards, things like that. I do expect a lot of innovation in that space. Now, what was going to say? So we're expecting that. Now we just had Shanghai a fork on Wednesday, successfully with ETH withdrawals. We might have a quick look at that too, actually, while we're here, see how much ETH has been withdrawn so far. And what else? What's the team going to fork? Are they going to fork? Do a new block, because the block for V3 is the 26th of January. Are they going to give us a new block? How fast are they at setting all this up? Obviously, with the validators and stuff like that, it's going to be interesting to see how they process this. It's going to be fun. So let's see what they come up with regarding the fork post Shanghai. We will see. All right, there are a couple other things in there too, but we'll just ignore talking about those today. Now, Thomas is in the house. That robot, yeah, Superman robot. We got that guy. I like that. That's pretty funny, Thomas. Time is ticking for V4, says Brennan. That is indeed. V4 means mainnet is so close. It does, Vincent. It does. You're right. Woo! I like that. That you're on the money. You're on the money. You're on the crypto, as we say. Lost track. Any poly info? Poly. Are you talking about Polygon? Let me know. All right, so here we are. We're running at 10.4 second block times on testnet V3. We've got up to 50 million wallets now showing. We've still got this indexing pre-validation fork, but we're expecting V4. And, of course, the transactions for the 13th of April. The 12th of April, we had 57,500 transactions. We've come in with 48,000 transactions. So get on and test, play around. I have done a video tutorial about it was a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, whenever it was. And you can check that on this channel. It's for beginners, and I went through 10 top topics, which I thought people would want to see on that. So it's a different approach, but we went through everything, PulseX and everything else like that. I don't think the bridge was open though at the time, so that's the one thing it hasn't got is the bridge and stuff like that. So anyway, we're up to block number 16,857,245, and the transactions are just ticking along here as we go. We've got, let's have a look, see what's happening at the moment. So we've got lots of PulseX stuff happening, have we? Lots of transfers, lots of Pulse transfers. Let's have a look down here. Yep, we've got a lot of PulseX liquidity provision. We've got a lot of Zen still. So these have been the main thing has been PulseX, Zen. We've had a lot of other projects launched as well. Some of the big utilities seem to be holding off of V4 from the looks of it. So we don't think we've seen them. I've seen a lot of smaller projects come on and test on their protocols. Zen Truant there, a lot of Zen, like I said, PLS, PLX trades, incentive token harvesting, some DAI from the bridge. So we've got quite a few of those in here. Let's see what else. There's some wrapped ETH. These are the last ones. Oh, yes, this one here popped up yesterday, right? The RVLC that popped up there the other day. I still don't know what that is. We've got some Watt token from Power City, really? Okay, so maybe that Watt token's on from Power City. I haven't checked Power City today, so maybe out of the loop on that. So yeah, let's scroll down. So the sort of things that we've got going on there. I'm just looking for anything else that's not showing up. It's on the first page. And some Hex. We've got some Hex. Yay, some Hex in there. So cool. That is pretty much that. Now, if you are new to PulseChain Testnet V3, wonder what the heck we're talking about, you can find the Pulse coin. That's going to be the burning fee coin, just like ETH on Ethereum. It's going to be a burning fee. That is here. You just go test Pulse and you'll be able to see all the holders of Pulse. If you are wanting to look at all the tokens, so PLS or Pulse is the coin. And if you want to see all the PRC20s equivalent to like ERC20s and other coins, you can find all the ones here, and they're based on the 26th of January. Whatever people had in the 26th of January on the Ethereum got copied over. Now, the one thing I would say is that obviously we've got PulseX as well. It's one of the it's the main token for PulseX, which is a fork of Uniswap V2 / Pancake's front end, and of course that's got 143 trillion PulseX supply. Probably around about 17 trillion plus or minus is in the public hands, and the rest of it is held centrally, which is part of the mechanisms of Richard Hart. And I think it's a very key factor to value creation. There are different paths to value creation, but I think that Richard's probably got the best approach to value creation. And I think that's where some of his real genius lies. In my view. So pretty cool there. 143 trillion. And of course, we have the big buy and burn, which is going to be a game changer. People are going to be talking about that, and we're going to see that operate. Imagine thousands of trading pairs buying and burning PulseX. Really, really amazing. That's without anyone else buying it. It's going to be all the other trading pairs buying. That's going to be gorgeous. So can't wait to see that. Really, really can't wait to see that. Then we've got all the apps, of course. We've got all the apps. If you want to play around with that, we've got the V3 Beacon Explorer. That's really for validators. We've got PulseX. We've got Pulse Ramp, the bridge between a PulseChain and Ethereum. PulseX, of course, it means that you're going to be able to easily buy and sell, and of course, trade, do liquidity, yield farm, all that sort of cool stuff, and the big buy and burn, of course. And then we've got sacrifice check if you sacrifice for PulseChain or PulseX, and of course, the V3 force it if you've got no Pulse, you can get a little bit of Pulse from there. Now, that is pretty much it on the testnet there. Now, you can paste your address in here and see all your assets that you had copied over on the 26th of January, or if you had PulseChain or PulseX sacrifices. So that's kind of an overview of that. Always like to do that in case some people are new coming in. Now, the actual GitLab, let's have a look at what's been happening with the team. So the team's been logging in for work. So let's have a quick look at that. Now, the last updates I did were updating for Shanghai compatibility with the execution clients. Kind of the big deal there. That's why we're kind of bullish about V4. We'll see what V4 comes in with. But at the very least, the validated inflation adjustments in there, making them yield competitive with PulseChain, with Ethereum. Now, obviously, I'm keen to have the fork, based on with the EIP upgrade for Shanghai, because that would make us competitive, truly competitive with Ethereum. Otherwise, because I'm expecting to see a lot more Ethereum flood into Ethereum validating, and that would take more wealth off the market. So that's why I look at it. That being said, of course, that could potentially increase the price of Ethereum, which one would expect, and I guess you could transfer that wealth in. So there's a bit of give and take there. So we've had 3 Commons Capital in there on the 14th of April. We've got Brett Paulson there, 14th of April. Gamma, the 14th of April, logging in for work on PulseChain, GitLab. And of course, we've got SJB logging in on April 14th as well. Now, last time Richard Hart was in there was the 12th of April. So that's on the PulseChain one. I'm not going to go through PulseX group, but that is the people logging in for work. So They're not mucking around. They're not mucking around. So we'll get there shortly, I guess. All right, let's go to the PulseX quickly. Let me switch to PulseChain. Switching the wallet. Yeah, we're going to do that. So we got the PulseChain. So this is the fork of Uniswap / PancakeSwap. And of course, we've got V2 technology here. Well, let's see what we got at the moment. One pulse at the moment equals 2.81. That's 2.81 PulseX. So 2.81 PulseX is the current rate, which just seems pretty steady, right? And it seems pretty similar to the proof of stake versions that we had of testnet as well. Yeah, got up to 3.28 in the last week, and it's pretty much around 2.71. Seems reasonable there. Right, so let's go to the info, have a look at some of the volume. The volume we've had on the testnet today, or at least on the 14th, is 1.31 billion. A day before there was 1.8 billion. Pretty nice. We'd love to have those sort of volumes. That would be pretty cool. Now, what else? We've got some of the leaders. We're having a bit more mixed prices today. We've got the Pulse at 0.37. People were pretty happy with that. We got PulseX at 1.3 cents, which means that there would be over 11,000 millionaires in PulseX if none of them sold. Obviously, this is just testnet, just playing stuff. Hex is at $6.79. Yeah, boy, we like that. I don't you love testnet here. Now, this is the one that was up yesterday on the Pulse chain. Was this Rob Val C? And I have no idea what it is. Haven't gone around to check it, but that there was floating around on the transactions as we saw it again today. So it's kind of cool. Now, liquidity here, you got some 1.4 billion in Pulse and DAI, big liquidity pools here. 11.9 billion in the Pulse, PulseX and Pulse pair as well. Where's Hex and Pulse? Hex Pulse here is at 500 million. Now, in reality, some people are picking the Hex Pulse to be potentially some of the biggest, if not the biggest, liquidity. We will see, because the Hex, we may see some massive liquidity in Hex, particularly, I think, between Hex and EHEX, we might see that too. So it's going to be interesting to see that all those sort of things play out with the liquidity pairs. And I think that's it. I think that's what we're going to talk about there. We don't have limit orders yet. We don't have the DAO. We'll probably wait for that post V4 is my guess. We've got the burn, though. The burn at the moment, where's that up to? With obviously all that stuff going through the trading, then we're up to 8.04 billion. So that's gone up like a boss, man. And man, that's looking so good. Is there a lot to harvest? Oh, this one's still sitting here teasing us, but I don't think that's harvestable. What else there? $1.45. Yeah, so no big bounties to be had there, but that is pretty cool. So that is PulseX. Pretty cool. So we're going to jump into the markets, though. How am I doing for time? We've got another 10 minutes, I think. 10 minutes, so we're going to see how we go. Before we get to that, we've got 62 people in the house, so a big welcome to everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Let us get into more. We've got up to Thomas Turner, a robot Superman. I love that. That was so funny. The time is ticking for V4, says Brennan. Vincent says V4 means mainnet so close. Yeah, we definitely got up to that. Lost track, any poly info. Yeah, I read that one too. Let's jump through some of that. We've got compound interest in the house there, PLS IOU in the house. And we've got Lion Wings as well. Hi, everybody. Good to see you, Lion Wings. Thomas says Hedron Poly Maxi. Sorry, yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, Poly Maxi. I haven't actually talked about the Poly Maxi derivatives for some time. I need to pull that up as well. Put more about that. So we'll do that. We've got Andrew Reynolds in the house there. Morning all. Happy Friday weekend, everybody. Good to see you, Andrew. And let me just jump through some of these. Prelazzi says 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. Who else there? Pulse Demic as well. Put your cape on, Superman. Share your crypto night, says Pulse Demic. Hey, nice to see you in the house. Appreciate the kind words. What's that? Thomas says, due to the lack of being paid for stream morals, hit that thumbs up. Yeah, smash the like button. That's for sure. We've got Astri in the house as well. Woo-woo. Hey, good to see it. Howdy, Astri. Nice to see you too. And Academiciated as well as in the house there. Chris A is in the house. May Net. I like what you did there, Chris. May and Net. Very, very cool. Oh, yes. I haven't done the farms, have I? What was the APY for the farm, Super? I didn't do the farms on PulseX. How bad of me was that? Let me pull that up. Let me go to do that. That was pretty bad. I like to do the APYs on the PulseX. Let me just quickly do that. You're quite right. Farms. Let's have a look here. The farms. I haven't harvested the farm. Okay, so we got 115% APR on the PulseX PLS. The DAI Pulse is 892%. Farming incentive pulse is 1131%, and incentive PulseX is 1100%. And I've got some stuff to harvest. Oh man, $1,200. And how much on here? It's $286 on that one. So we won't harvest that today. I'll leave that, keep humming along for tomorrow's harvest. Hopefully the prices stay up. All right. Brendan saying, no, get it now. Get it now. All right. So that's pretty much it. Let's get into, let me see my time. Just checking my time here. And as you guys know, we're splitting the show into two today. So we're going to race through the market results today. Dow closes lower on rate hike jitters, but notches fourth weekly win. Yeah, boy, we like that. And of course, we've had the market's been to the upside so far, right? So it's kind of been cool for that all year, really. And we've had a few down weeks, but apart from that, it's been pretty good. Dow Jones there is down 0.4%, 143 points to 33,886. S&P is down 0.2%, 8 points to 4,137. The NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it is down 0.33%, 42 points to 12,123. But we've had a pretty good week for the most part. And the dollar index is up slightly, as 0.6% up to 101.29. But will it break under 100 soon? And we'll get a real pivot maybe after May, May's terminal rate from the interest rate, if we get a terminal rate from the Fed Reserve. Now, the crude oil is up a bit there, 63 cents on both West Texas and Brent oil, to $86 and $82. So they're on the ascendancy, and I think maybe we've almost bottomed out on those, and maybe we'll just have higher oil prices moving ahead. Remember, OPEC cut production and stuff like that's been happening. Gold is down $37, and of course, pretty much off the top, all-time high, unbelievable, watching history in the making. Is gold down 1.83%. Silver is down 1.7% there, 46 cents, down to $25.46. So, yeah, keep a track on that gold. People moving into gold quite heavily. And, of course, watch that, especially as the dollar pivots. So the Dow closed lower Friday, weighed down by a slide in Boeing and United Health, while fresh fears of Federal Reserve rate hikes overshadowed a rally. Remember yesterday we were kind of like, we're not worried about the Fed so much yesterday. Now today we're worried about the Fed again in the commentary. So I don't know. Hikes overshadowed a rally of bank stocks on strong quarterly earnings. Fed Governor, so this is the catalyst here, Fed Governor Chris Waller said further rate hikes were still needed to curb inflation, adding that investors shouldn't expect rates to fall anytime soon. You got to remember, these guys aren't monetarists, right? So for the most part, and I don't know if they've got the right models for predicting the right path. I think the monetarists are definitely winning out there with their projections. So, but in any case, these guys are almost all the I guess the Keynesians of fiscal monetarists. We'll see. The hawkish remarks from Waller pushed the United States 2 years sharply higher as investors upped their bets on further Fed money policy tightening ahead. Just as data showed signs of weakness in the consumer, that's kind of positive news for the inflation story. The report showed further slowing in consumer spending, but importantly, not a sharp deterioration. And that's probably important generally if you're thinking about investing as well. If you want to take that over to investing, obviously we want people to have decent incomes or consistent incomes, and we want them to be wealthy, so that you've got the wealth and income effect playing into crypto in particular. The largest declines were driven by a reversal in gas prices, but there was also broad-based weakness across nearly every category of spending. The backdrop of rising rates weighed on tech, with Microsoft falling more than 1%, followed by Apple, Amazon, and Alphabet closed higher. Financials, however, bucked the trend lower as major Wall Streets kicked off a quarterly earnings season with mostly better than expected results. And that's kind of a surprise to the upside again. We've had so many surprises to the upside, folks. A bit crazy. But we've had some, we have had a few dark hours during the year, like the attack on crypto banks and a couple of them falling over, and some regional banks as well having issues with higher interest rates, right? Particularly the commercial banks. You got to remember, a lot of them fixed their interest rates when they're like close to zero. We do have a lot of the market has to refix soon. That's going to cause a lot of hemorrhaging when they come from a very low interest rate environment to an expensive interest rate environment, and we've been covering that since last year quite closely. After reporting first quarter results, that analyst estimates on top and bottom lines as net interest margin was bolstered by higher interest rates. And of course, Citibank and Wells Fargo also reported better than expected results. At the end of the day, up 4% and flat, respectively. The recent bank turmoil did, however, have an impact on banks, with JP Morgan and Wells Fargo reporting a 7% and 8% decline in deposits from a year ago. Goldman Sachs continues the earnings parade from banks next week, though regional banks will also dominate attention, and those are the ones that people are particularly looking at as opposed to the larger banks, with First Republic also set to report first quarterly results. So we're going to jump through all of this. Let's jump through all that. So that's the end of the stock market. That is the result. So just a bit of a dampener day, but not bad, not overly bad. But that Fed still trying to close that gap between inflation and the lifting interest rates, right? So we will see how they get on there. I expect one more at least to go. Talking about that, of course, we've got 2 weeks and 4 days to go and 18 hours until the next Fed meeting. So 2 weeks, 4 days, and 18 hours. That's a bit of a window of opportunity. But hopefully and potentially, this is the very last interest rate rise that I'm expecting. And of course, you can see the market at the moment, 78% of the market is expecting a 25 basis rise there on May the 3rd. So put that in your calendars. Only 22% are expecting a no change, which is currently 4.75 to 5% on the federal funds rate. Now, let's have a quick look at June, have a little sneak peek. Yep, so no one's really expecting, we've got 16% expecting another 25%. So we'll watch that. We'll watch that closely where the things change to feed into another rate, right? That would be really, really hard for the market. The market will take that hard, in my view. Yeah, let's hopefully we get that last one there. All right, so cool. Let's get into crypto. Let me just check the time. We're doing okay. So crypto is at 1.36 trillion. Is the market cap up 1.65%? Yeah, boy. So crypto rocking it and looking even better all the time. That's what the title of the video is: Crypto Pump, Bitcoin, Ethereum, of course. And we're going to talk about PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex, of course. Bitcoin dominance is at 43.29%. $100 billion in of 24-hour volume based on CoinPaprika's data. Let's jump into the top 10 list. We've got a Bitcoin at 30,446, staying over there. Beautiful, love it, and gaining support there. Love it, so good. Where are we going to go from here now? To the upside is generally expected. We've got the price is down 0.8% there, 0.8%, but holding pretty nicely at $30,446. Beautiful. Ethereum, of course, following Wednesday's successful Shanghai fork or Shapella upgrade, is up 0.1% there, but at $2,100. So nice lift from yesterday, about $100 or $90 from yesterday. So very, very cool there. Up 13% for the week as well, and Bitcoin up 9%. Very important there. We've got Binance Coin is up just slightly to $329, but up 6% for the week. XRP is the next one that may also help fuel the altcoin rally. Successful court case against the SEC would be very bullish. And of course, that's up 1.2%, 52.3 cents, and up 3% for the week. Hex here is at 7.36, still getting traded a lot within that 7 to 8 cent range. And that is down 3.8%, but up 4.4% for the week. So we'll take that. We'll take that where we can. Cardano there is at 4.38 cents, up 3%, up 15% for the week is Cardano. And of course, number 9 there, OKB there is at $49.68. And it's retaken, I think, its place at number 9, 13.6% up overnight and 20.5% over the last 7 days. So that's definitely easily the best performer in the last 7 days. Lido staked, of course, also benefiting from the Shanghai fork, is up a little bit, and that's up 13%, obviously, like Ethereum. So pretty cool. Those are top 10. So let's jump into Hex quickly. I'll just check my time here. We're not doing too bad. Hex at the moment, 7.357 cents here on Dick Screener. We're not going to go into the hourly, I don't think. It's just had the top of the range today has been 7.85 cents there. Our man's just trading in that 7 to 8 cent range. The bottom has been 7.2. We're just slightly off the bottom at the moment. We're down 1.83% on 24 hours, $8.6 million in the top liquidity pool on V3. We've got 196 buys over 174 sells, so 52% of the trades have been buys, and the sell volume pretty close to each other. 52% sell volume in the place, around about $1 million each, but sell volume just slightly ahead there. That's pretty much it for that. Let's have a look at the RSI on the daily, and we're at 47 on the RSI. And as Brennan said earlier, I think he was talking about we need to get to 7.7 cents for a nice confirmed move higher on the daily. I think that's what Brennan said earlier. So that's interesting. Let's have a look at the whale bot. Let's have a quick look here over the last 24 hours. Let's see where we're up to here. We've got 1 million Hex burned for 4,300 days. Very nice. 750. I should give some hearts to that, shouldn't I? We got 750 Hex, 750,000 Hex burnt for 3,800 days. That's awesome. So it's over 10 years, is it? and 750,000 Hex burned for 4,237. Man, we've seen a lot in the last couple of weeks, haven't we, of large amounts of Hex going off the market, which has been pretty cool. We do have a lot of short large holders coming out. I think some of them must be at least staking for a longer period of time. Here we've got 650,000 burned for 4,548 days, looking like a boss there. Another 2.7 million sold 7 hours ago. So that's our big sell pressure in the last 24 hours is this last trade here. And it's probably, actually, why did I put a heart on it? I don't put hearts on the sells, only on the buys, but this is the way it goes. That's pretty funny. Look at that. That's pretty hilarious. So yeah, cool. Trading Hex for that fiat. That's going to zero. This is D'Artagnan there. Sell me more. Yeah. So that is pretty much it on the whale bot. Let's go quickly to Hedron. Hedron at 2659. Hedron holding up pretty well. A bit of a profit-taking day there, like Hex, down 1.9%. 26 buys over 29 sells. 47% buys, 57% sells on the trades. But the volume is dominating there. 118,000 sells today, which is 50%, 7% of the volume in the Hedron USD pair there. Just dropped below 1 million liquidity, sitting at 939,000. And you can see it's at the bottom of this hammer today. And the high so far today, 2,788, the low 2,659. We're currently at 2,659, so just at the bottom there at the moment. But we've still got a bullish cross here on the averages. And the RSI there is sitting cool at 54. And the buyers are still in control with a confirmed trend. So not much change there, just a bit of a down day, maybe on the way up. We'll see. Let's go to the HSIs. We're going to switch over to Ethereum. And let's go to Ethereum there and see how many HSIs are in the house. We've got 2,784 Hex HSIs are in the liquidation queue. We're going to get to the auctions. We've got 2013 at the moment, Hex HSI auctions. We've got lots of big ones have been going from the looks of it. We'll have a look down here. We've got only a couple left open at the moment. We've got 11 T-shares, 13 T-shares, 13 T-shares, 37. So there's some decent ones in here. And you can bid on those with the Hedron using app.ecosa.pro if you want to get into that, which is well worth doing. Let's jump over to the, should we check Icosa quickly? Yeah, we'll do that quickly. We've got to keep track of the time, but we're doing all right. 71 cents on Icosa. So a nice little boom day on Icosa. Woo, looks like it up 5.34%. Nice. So congratulations to you on that one. That's on the upside at least. So cool. Let's go look at Dev Huey. Dev Huey says the 8 watts of NFTs burned in the last 24 hours, so 2,236 endpoints. So we're down to 21,324 watts NFTs. Man, it's a slow burn, isn't it? Slow burn. People not giving these things up. Man, it's pretty hilarious to watch that. All right, so that is our first half of the show, and we gunned through that like a boss, man. But yeah, cool updates there. Ethereum and Bitcoin doing really well. And of course, Hex just cooling, trading in a range 7 to 8 cents. Looking for a bullish move up, holding up fairly well, I think. So we're going to watch that too. Now, obviously, PulseChain and PulseX on testnet v3. Will we get testnet v4 by Sunday? Let's see how we go and what will be in there. That's going to be very important as well. Cool. All right, we've got a special guest, I believe. We've got a special guest. So we're going to be getting onto that. Actually, I haven't even set that up, but let's see who's in the house. Man, let me just change the format here. All right, Jacob, welcome.
Hello, Hex Token. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. I mean, it's the first time I've actually had Jacob on. So Jacob's the founder of BNB Pot, Pulse Pot, you may have heard. And of course, now also the founder of PLS IOU. So a PulseChain proxy, pretty much a way of getting PulseChain other than using buying Hex. So it's a privilege to have you on. And of course, you have an incredible reputation as a brilliant developer and I believe mathematician as well to some degree. So great to have you on the house in the chat here.
Thank you very much, Superman. And also, I want to just thank you for all of your commitment to the Hex and PulseChain ecosystem. I know that you have and personally seen a lot of your content, and I know that we, with our BNB pod and PLS pod, have been featured on your channel multiple times. We truly appreciate that you are willing to dive into these projects and give them a chance for a bit of review and a bit of exposure. So thank you very much for that. So with that said, we previously built a PLSP PulseBot, and which is currently running on BNB, and we are still fully developing on that product. But during a team meeting, roughly 8 days ago, we were brainstorming, and it came to my attention that we could. It would be interesting if we could issue a token on Ethereum that would effectively represent the value one-to-one of a PLS on PulseChain. And what we concluded was that if we were able to collect enough trusted liquidity providers like big project names and individuals and Hex OGs and big people, big names, we truly believe that we could create a backed PLS token that we could start trading on Ethereum today. So here we are, 7, 8 days later, and we have published the front end. The token is live, and it's been trading for roughly 24 hours. And I think we have $800,000 in volume, and a lot of new users now own PLS. So I think we believe that we.
That's pretty incredible, Jacob. I don't know. Some of the people in the chat there know what PLS IOU is. Others don't know what it is. So, what is PLS IOU? What is that?
Okay, so basically, if you missed out on the sacrifice, or if you want to expand your holding of PLS, you can now buy right now a token on Ethereum. And when the PulseChain snapshot fork goes live, that token will be copied over, right? Just like everything else. And now we will deploy a contract on PulseChain that holds all of the PLS that corresponds to the exact amount of IOU tokens we minted on Ethereum. So if you bought it, you can now make a one-to-one ratio swap without ever considering the price of each asset. So it's just a guaranteed swap to a PLS in the future. So the reasoning behind creating this was that we noticed that if you look at the sacrifice wallets from Richard, or the PulseChain and the PulseX, obviously there's still a lot of activity on the sacrifice, and even though the sacrifice phases has closed for reasonable ratios for a long time ago, in fact we saw not too long ago a $50,000 sacrifice where the ratio calculated would be roughly $8 a piece, right? So if you went to buy the IOU token instead, you would have gotten a deal in the range of 500 times better. Because sacrificing now is a terrible deal to the main wallet, right? I think everyone understands that.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you go and look up the data, we are talking about thousands of wallets with millions of dollars in total that could have gotten a better deal if a project like this would have existed. So with that said, PulseX had 40,000 wallets that sacrificed. PulseChain had significantly less. I think it was in the 60Ks maybe.
Yeah, so I think the site has over 40,000, and unique users would be even lower. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that even makes the difference even larger, right? So that means that we have a big part of the community that probably would have sacrificed for PulseChain if they had the opportunity to, right? Might be timing, might be financial, might be anything, might be any reasoning. But now we feel like we're just providing a simple technical service where someone is now basically able to sacrifice again. Instead of sacrificing to that obnoxious rate, you are now buying this token at a significantly lower rate, which would be 20x is the starting price of the IOU, is 20x from the day one average sacrifice.
Yeah, so from 0.0001, which was kind of the average and the mean price, you're looking at you started off the liquidity pool, the price pool at 0.002. Is that correct?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And the reasoning for that has there's many different arguments here. And first and foremost, anyone who sacrificed for PulseChain, they gave up the ability to that capital for 2 years, right? So obviously nobody is going to provide that guaranteed liquidity for a 1x, a 2x, a 3x. Like, you could ask yourself, what would you give it up for, right? Because certainly we can all agree that it's worth more than what we gave for it, right? So
I think I'm well known that I want to buy more as opposed to
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the real speculation is actually, so what will the price actually be on day one? If you believe it's going to be more than 20x, well, then I would recommend you to buy the IOU, because that's right now for sale at roughly that, right? And nobody truly knows. So this is just a bunch of trusted liquidity providers that basically making a bet that they can provide this as a service. And when we start the price at a 20x, we feel like we have the margin so that it wouldn't become a extremely bad deal to actually do that, right?
So let's just summarize. This is summarize what. So what it is PLS IOU is a way of getting Pulse before it launches, so that and you'll get that delivered at the time of just after the launch. And the reason why you guys are doing it is because, or at least one of the main reasons, is because the sacrifice rate at the moment, if people are still sacrificing, is just ridiculous in terms of the ratio. And has been probably since the beginning of
for a long time, for a very long time,
2021.
But what also I think what matters to me is the fact that this is a new marketing and new content machine in some essence, right? Because we have been recycling the same testnet stuff and all of that, but now we have an actual chart, and every time someone buys, that means someone puts that value on this token, because it will just be redeemable 1-to-1, right? So this gives us an entirely new chart that can be, made content around and be just add a new dynamic value and aspect of the entire Pulse chain. And as long as it is trusted and it's provided by someone who has the background to actually do so, I think it will be a net benefit for everyone involved.
Right, that's cool. So I think we've covered off what it is, why you guys have set it up. And you set it up about 8 weeks ago when you had a discussion about it, which is kind of the genesis of the idea. I have said this way back that I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like this. So that's why I was very keen to get you on, and it sort of just came out very quickly, as you guys have just indicated, which is kind of fun to see that. But obviously people want confidence in it, so we're going to talk about the confidence sides of it a bit later. But let's get into, let me pull up the chart and push that in there. This is the current chart of PLS IOU, and of course it's paired with USDC on Uniswap. Give us an idea of the starting mechanism in terms of the price, because you said it was a 20x, so the average stake price is 0.0001. And of course, you started the liquidity off here at 0.2 here somewhere. Let me have a look at the 15-minute chart. I'm not sure if that shows it up that easy.
Yes.
0.02, so that's back down here somewhere, about here. This is on the 15-minute chart for the PLS IOU, so it's only just been launched, and that's how much you've got in. So how's this been set up with the mechanism? Because I also want to have a look on the chain there. Let me just pick up PLS holders. I guess that will do. No, it's not the one I want, so it's the other one. Let me go to here to the contract. So this is the PLS IOU contract. We've got the holders at the top here, but what is where I want to start? So you set the price at 0.002, so that's a 20x for whoever's decided to back this with real PLS when it gets to the redemption phase. But you've got hidden here at the moment 962 million Pulse, and of course, Pulse IOU tokens. 96.29% is sitting in this liquidity pool, and so you can actually see that here on the liquidity pool. And of course, that's got $2 million because it's based on the current price. But USDC is only sitting at $86,000, so it's 86,000 of USDC. So do you want to give us some idea of how that genesis has started up for setting this this price going?
Yes, absolutely. So the way we did this was we minted the token that's according to the amount of back liquidity we have from the sacrifice wallets that we took in as verified backers. So in this case, round one, it's 1 billion PLS.
Mhm.
So we mint 1 billion PLS IOU. Now we deploy this directly into a single-sided V3 liquidity range that starts from the minimum price that our liquidity providers require, and then up to the full range, which means that if all of these tokens get bought, the LP literally starts at 1 billion PLS IOU and 0 USDC. And if all of them gets bought, the last PLS IOU would have been sold for $1.
Okay. That's a very good explanation. So I just want people to understand that mechanism because it looks very different from what people are used to, right? So, I told someone about this yesterday. They looked at it and they go, oh, wow. And then I said, yeah, but just got to remember that there's all this liquidity in one pool and it has to be bought up. And that's why the USDC is only showing 86,000.
Yes.
So it's a pretty clever way of doing it. But it might catch a few people off guard. So I thought that was good to just go through that. Now, so this is the price that it is at the moment. So obviously it got rallied up from 0002. Some people have been buying it. I see the volumes are relatively on the low side at the moment, but it got pushed up all the way up to here on the 15-minute chart up to 2.3 cents. So it actually made a bit of a gain there. What would that be? Let me go to 2.2. So made about 5% gain, and then of course got sold off a little bit here from the looks of it, back down to 0.02. So that means that US dollars are being drained from the pool again. So how does that impact from your backers' point of view? How does it impact them? Jacob, you there?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, can you just ask that question again?
So when people are buying the PLS IOU, it puts US dollars into the pool, and therefore the backers technically kind of get that reward, that US dollars that goes into the pool. But if it goes down in value, then obviously they're getting a lower price than 0.22.
So I don't believe it's possible to get a lower price than 0.02 because we don't basically the supply that we are in control of is what we define what price we want to sell it at minimum. So if anyone supplies liquidity at a lower price than that, it's because they bought it basically from us and then offered it at a lower price now. So just effectively taking a price loss. So
sorry, I'm just trying to understand this chart here because the chart's showing below the 0.0022. So either I'm probably missing something. So if you could,
I think you're looking at a 0.02156 that is above the starting price.
It's got 0.02. It started at 0.02, didn't it? Yeah, so it's still above there. You're right. You're quite right. 0.002 it started here. Sorry, my bad. I kept on thinking in my head 0.022 for some reason.
Yeah, sorry. That was why I was so confused when you asked me before. I was trying to figure out what you actually meant.
I fixated on 2.2 rather than 2. But
okay,
that's my bad. It's my error there. All right, so that explains it. So that's quite nice. All right. Okay, I guess the final thing we're getting into is the mechanism for claiming. So let's say we get up PulseChain launches. Let's say it launches in a month's time. What happens after the PulseChain launches and PLS has been dropped to people's wallets? How do people redeem the PLS IOU?
Yes. So what's going to happen is that the fork happens, and now you have your IOU tokens on PulseChain mainnet. Then what happens is we will deploy the swap contract as quickly as possible, and that would take mere days, maybe 1 or 2 days. After that, our liquidity providers would come in and deposit the PLS they just was airdropped, and they would deposit that into the contract. And as liquidity basically comes in, the redeeming can start happen. Because now you had the token that you bought on ETH, you had it copied on PulseChain, and now you can utilize it to redeem the Pulse.
Okay, so you redeem the Pulse, and what happens to the US dollars that's been collected in the pool?
The US dollars are being paid to the liquidity providers to actually deposit that PLS into the contract, because that was the fundamentals of the entire deal. They are providing the liquidity to get a reward in USDC.
Okay. So when you go to claim, I guess they've got to put their Pulse in first, right? So they put their Pulse in. and then you go to claim it. So when they put the pulse in and they get the US dollars, does it go to the LP, and how do they get the US dollars in that mechanism?
So the way it's constructed is that actually the liquidity pool manager will send the USDC in fractions of 5 based on the entire portion, and they will actually act first so that the liquidity provider will have absolutely no risk involved. They receive USDC and now they deposit the PLS. They are not the first actor.
Okay. And then after that, people then come in and claim whatever pulse has been put up in there. So first served basis.
Well, during the providing, it would be first served purpose because obviously some people will take minutes or hours more than others, right? If they are available. Who knows when the fork happens? You can be on vacation in Asia, right? So some liquidity would naturally take longer to appear than other, but the incentive to deposit that liquidity will be very high for those that promised it because it's effectively sold for 20x. So you're making a great deal by providing this liquidity if the PLS token launches at lower than a 20x, obviously.
100%. So the other one is if it's over 20x the market price, and then people putting it in at 20x. Let's argue that case. Then they decide to go, whoa, I can get 30x on the market. I'm going to renege on my commitment, my pledge. What happens there?
So in that scenario, any bagger that we take in will have a social responsibility, and they will also be, if they back out from that deal of committing the PLS, that will be publicly shared who these projects are who didn't supply that. But also we mitigate the risk by not a single entity can have a significant portion. So it's always at any time a smaller portion where that unfortunate event would happen. And in that case, we would simply just bridge over the USDC and buy up the PLS for the market price, and then accept that we take a loss on a smaller amount of the total, but then had a profit on the other, right?
Okay, so people still get compensated back with the USDC to some degree. That's what you are saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And
but they may take a partial loss if that did occur in that black swan event type of thing.
Yes, also 20x is only the first buy order, right? So you might see the average is actually 30 when the pool is made up, right? Because right now you can see that what sold as 40 million tokens or something like that from the supply. 40 million tokens, right? And there's $86,000. So right now, all of those individuals and projects who committed liquidity, they actually only owe 40 million tokens. And we have already a pool to pay those liquidity providers $86,000. So that's how it's going to work.
Cool. Sounds very good to me. A clever way of doing it. Now, there are a couple more questions I want to ask about it. Now, let's have a look at. So this is the official website, PulseChain-IOU.com. I'll post it in the chat there. Now, all these links are posted in the useful links under the PulseChain project. So if anyone wants to go to those in our Discord, you go to the PulseChain projects. It's our second discussion group. And in that, there is a useful links for PulseChain projects. All these links are there if you want to go to them. So just remember that. And if you've got any questions, get them into the chat as well. We will do a Q&A here. So it's a privilege to have you on, Jacob. Appreciate it. And excited to talk about this. But I want to try and cover as many questions as possible so that, people have a good understanding of what they're dealing with here. So we've got we've got a couple of things. So claim that's going to come in the future, obviously, once PulseChain launches. But in terms of the backers, so the people putting up these pulse, so we've got some projects here: Win-Win, PulsePot, and SuperStake. So that's an interesting combination. What's the relationship between these? Why did Win-Win, SuperStake coming in? Obviously, PulsePot is related to your project to put up this PLS.
Yeah. So initially, this section actually had 6 blocks here. But 24 hours until launch, we had significant downfall in baggers because there was going some FUD around. So unfortunately, it suddenly randomly slimmed down, and now this is not some sort of free collaboration specifically. It's just the three remaining, I would say, in all honesty.
Sure.
So we are calling this round one of the liquidity backers now, and as people realize that this is a serious and legit project, we might be able to onboard more trusted liquidity, and you would see more projects appear here. So there's no special connection to specifically these, other than they have decided to commit to the project. But for 24 hours ago, this block here had six items in total, right? So that was a short-term setback, but we decided to go forward and then onboard more later.
Okay, cool. Now, do you have any others in the pipeline that are? You talked about we've got one billionaire Pulse. Is there chances that there could be more Pulse tranches coming into this product?
Yes, there's a chance that we can onboard more liquidity if needed.
Okay. Now, the only people that qualify as backers are project teams? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, not only, but those are the main ones. We have certain individuals. I will give you an example. For instance, I think we can all agree that there are certain individuals that doesn't necessarily have their own project, but that would have the reputation and the respect, so that they would be in a position to significantly raise the trust around a project like this, right? Just as an example, without, for instance, a guy like David Feeder, if he individually, without being a part of a project, if he backed this, I think that would definitely go a long way. So we chose, and just for a good sake, David Feeder is not backing it in any way. It's just an example, but that as an individual, there are definitely people with merit to become a individual liquidity provider. But we generally do prefer projects, absolutely.
Sure. Sure. Projects show commitment to what they do, right? They back up their words with actions. Now, is this open for the new backers? Like, is there a way for people to reach you if they're going to be qualified, become a backer?
Yes, absolutely. The Telegram is always open, and you can just come talk to us, and we will talk about it. We'll have
right. And how people use the official Twitter that you've got here from.
We use the Telegram most, but the Twitter Telegram? Is also possible. Right. Yeah.
But is that Telegram for BNB Pod or Telegram for Pulse IOU? Is there this one here?
Yes, this one is.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to do this, then that's become a backer. That's the one there. Now, do people disclose their wallets with their Pulse in there, like to substantiate that they've actually got it?
Yes, the vetting process of becoming a trusted liquidity provider is quite strict. So first of all, you need to share the wallet, and we check the sacrifice, and after that, you need to send a specific amount from that wallet that we decide, so that we know that the person we're speaking to is in management of that specific wallet. And then obviously we target profiles that have significant trust in the community. And when you combine those three things, I think that's what creates a good and verified liquidity backer.
Right. Okay. That's cool. Do you guys sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, or what goes on behind there?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So it's just a trust relationship. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That is what any IOU would always be, a trust. And in fact, there's a funny analogy. This project is a promise on a promise with no expectation, right? Because PulseChain itself is a promise, is something that's based on trust, right? And so PulseChain IOU is basically a promise on a promise where we have no expectation from. So that is kind of a funny situation.
So I agree with that. Now, there is a Q&A here. I'm not going to go through the Q&A here, but people can see it on the website if they want to have a look at those questions. Is there anything else on the site that you want me to look at? We've obviously got the contract up here as well, and the socials there. So if people want that, they can. And if people have got more questions, they can ask on Telegram, right? So that's kind of cool. They've got a swap feature here as well. So swap you can just buy straight away off the website. Sorry, was that Jacob?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Yes, you can absolutely go to the website now, and you can buy it right there. You can see the chart. You can go through the frequently asked questions section and learn more about it, and you can see what's it all about. But I would say most information is actually available through the Telegram. There's a lot of good discussion and a lot of information available.
Okay, cool. Now, in terms of for the people buying a PLS IOU, so the only risk that they have really is, well, the main risk they have is if people didn't actually commit those PLS, but I can see these projects are pretty good projects that you've got as backers. And if worst case, some of the US dollars would be pushed back to buy a PLS IOU, and they'd get a good chunk of their money back from that point of view. Is that a good summary?
Yes, I would say so. Definitely.
Yeah, and from the backers' point of view, their upside is that they get a 20x minimum is what is their incentive.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to go through some of the updates here on your official Twitter, and let me just get up there. So 21 hours ago, this contract went live, and this is the official contract, right? OXA4 24EF. So that is it there. And that went out live 21 hours ago. So that's how long it's been live, folks, if you're watching there. So that's kind of cool. I'll just tweet that around. Now, we are live 21 hours ago. And then you've had PLS. This was 11 hours ago. What's this one here? This is on Pulse. No, PLS IOU, is it? It's trading at zero. It's a price update there in the volume.
Yeah.
Trading. So cool. We've got here 10 hours ago. Did you miss the PulseChain Sacrifice? Don't worry, you can get, depending on what the price is at the moment, you can get some Pulse. And I'm just going through this here because I wanted to get up to some of these comments that are up further ahead here. Hexkins, a few words of transparency. Will the LP get rugged? Yes. Will we use admin keys to stop trading? Yes. So you just hitting those on straight away, which brings me to, I guess, the mutability of the code and the features of the code. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but we'll hold off on that. If you understand the design of this token, you would understand why we are going to do those things. You see sometimes 3 minutes do your own research can go far. So we're going to talk about that in a second. So that is what the claim is going to look like when Pulse actually launches. You'll be able to burn your PLS IOU and get your Pulse and then confirm the swap. So that's the future view of what's going to be happening there on the website.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
same place you bought it.
Yeah. So that will pop up on the claim page here, which is currently not showing. So that's a future view of that. Now we've got a comment here from PulseChain Warrior. I fully trust the dev Jade Pulsepot, which is yourself, Jacob, and I guess your team. His past projects, BNB Pot, also launching on PulseChain, has done significantly well, and he never stops impressing us. If you take a few minutes to understand what the project is built for, you will know better about it. I bought it, and I am happy. So that's a pretty positive feedback there from Pulse Warrior. And of course, PulseChain. Let's go Pulse. Secure your bag now. So obviously talking about that as well. Now PulseChain, our website is now live. So that was an hour ago. So that website's only going live about an hour ago. This one here we're talking about, and find more information in the FAQ section, which guys can check out. Buy and trade Pulse today. So that's the positive side. You're getting very positive feedback, but you've also been getting some criticism just around the contracts. I want to talk about that now. This is probably the hard question, so we're going to get into this part. And that is, we've got this comment here from Hextronaut, who was pretty aggressive, maybe a bit over aggressive in my view. PSA for all Hexkins, stay far away from this garbage project as possible unless you like admin keys and rug pulls, which you already directly addressed, from devs that talk trash about Richard Hart, which I thought was very unfair. I thought this comment was just ridiculous based on the comments that are in here. These were the comments that you had, so it doesn't have the full thread, but it's got, yes, I trust the OA. So yeah, I don't know why he's going through all this other stuff, but anyway. Great to acknowledge trust involved. Let's not pretend it does not. So let's not pretend you are Richard Hart. So I don't know why he went so hard for the jugular here. Please let's not do that. Does not change the fact that trust is involved. Try ask around the general crypto community and ask how much trust RH has. I'm talking about Hexkin. So this is the comment here that he went and said, talking trash about Richard Hart, which I don't think you were at all. And you were just talking about the spectrum of trust around Richard Hart, which is fine. So obviously on this channel,
very true.
Yeah, we're big Richard Hart supporters on this channel. Obviously, there's a Maxi channel, but I don't see in this comment here you trashing Richard Hart. So It just sounds like he's doing a bit of unfair
Yeah,
perspective.
honestly, I think he must have had a bad day or something, but he just out of nowhere just chose to completely attack us and went out of his way to post this image on like 17 different tweets we engaged in, and I don't know what. It just went totally overboard. There's in fact 140 projects being built on PulseChain, and the vast majority of them have sacrifice phases. All of that is trust and nothing else, right?
Yes.
So I don't know why he's suddenly just the trust that I'm offering is suddenly just the worst in the world. But all of these other 30 projects that's offering trust through the sacrifice phase, let's forget about those.
I thought his comments were way over the top and just not fair at all. And the fact that he's gone so far with that as well is telling. So people can decide what they will of that. But I was not impressed by going so far with that sort of stuff. Now I'm not talking
what
anything
are
about.
he blocked us, so I'm actually interested in see what the comments on this are, because
Yeah,
I haven't even seen it.
So this is the comment here. So I'm not saying anything against Hextronaut in terms of person, but what is that saying on this particular issue is what I'm addressing. Just being very clear about that. And I just think that that's just too far, right? So just don't know how he gets that at all. It's almost like he wanted that to be the case, and so he said it, right? So that's pretty
But
much
how
it.
much? It has 5,000 views. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, 5,000 views on that. Now, I just want to look at this. This is from the Pulse Police review on Telegram, which is typically what we always say people to get is to review. I actually haven't seen this myself on Telegram. Since I'm not on Telegram, I normally get this passed through by community members. So I don't know if this is real, but it kind of, it's just verified it. So take it for what you will. Maybe PSI in the chat there has seen it on Telegram. But he's got here PLS IOU on Ethereum, token marketing to PLS holders 1-to-1 ratio. It's got the address there, which looks correct to me. It's got owner admin key as red flag. Owner can mint unlimited tokens, a red flag, which is obviously if you're going to add to it, you're going to be able to add more tokens into it, right? So, and you need an admin key. So that's those two within the context are fine. Rug risk. So yeah, if they don't trust you, it's a rug risk. Owner can freeze address. And of course, trading, the deployer received total supply, rug risk, red flag. So what's your views on that, Jacob?
Yeah, so I actually spoke with one of the guys involved in Pulse Police just prior to coming on here. We had like a 20-minute discussion back and forth around it. And normally I think this would be great. Like, this is really great advice, and it would definitely prevent a lot of people from getting scammed or involved with something that is dangerous. I truly appreciate what they're doing. But in this very specific case, I probably could have hoped for slightly more context being applied. Because first of all, how are we able to manage the liquidity if we can't mint and burn tokens, right? So obviously we need to be able to do that. This is already a trust-based thing. So if we can mint this or not, it doesn't really change anything, because at the end of the day, there's a deeper root level of trust involved to even executing this operation. So these things listed here, in fact, does not matter if you really truly understand it. And so then we have the owner can freeze addresses and trading. Yes, that is very true, because that is extremely necessary for us. When PulseChain goes live, we need to freeze the trading and the sending so that all of the USDC that sits in the liquidity pool won't get sold down, because that's what we need to use to pay for the liquidity for the backers, right?
Yeah.
So the only way that we can protect the scenario and actually operate as expected to honor our promises is exactly by having these features, such as being able to manage when are we stopping the sale, when are we opening the sale, and how much can we sell. That's all completely basic necessities of even executing this. And then we have the rug risk, and I just love all of these hexagons. They went completely overboard, and they're like, even right now they're asking, these guys are admitting to a rug pull, and then they're sharing it wide, and everyone is liking, and first time we have seen someone admitting to a rug pull. What they don't understand is that the rug pull is the point of the entire token. We need to get the USDC liquidity out so that we can get the liquidity on PLS. But because there's so many people that are just stuck in this mindset that everything that launches is a meme coin with a tax on, and you need to worry about very specific things, that is very true and a very good routine to have. But very obviously, you have specific cases where this model just simply does not work.
Yes,
Because
agreed.
yes, so we have 29 throwing up emojis, 3 shit emojis, and a vast majority of hexagons saying that it's incredible that we acknowledge we're going to rug pull. That's the level of due diligence these people are even doing, right? So I don't know how to respond to that, honestly.
Well, we already have we had Magic Carpet Ride had big sacrifices, and people trust them, and they've got well trust in the community. So that's a much bigger scale than this. So I don't see any particular issue. People have to decide. Obviously, do they trust you and your team, or they don't? Isn't that simple?
Yes, just as any sacrifice you would participate in the Pulse ecosystem, that would be the same. If you trust in our team to provide this technical opportunity to adopt yourself into PLS, then you can go for that. Or do
100%.
you want to sacrifice for any of the 120 projects? Well, then you can go trust them. There's literally no difference.
Here they all are. And so people are sacrificing millions of dollars to these teams on no expectation to deliver something. Which is kind of paradoxical, but there we are. These are all of these. There they are, folks. So I agree with you on this point. And everyone's trusting all these teams. And of course, the more these teams interact, the more trust they garner, I guess, if you trust the spectrum. Is a binary thing. Who knows? But this is all these teams. Look at them all. And obviously, PulsePot completed. And of course, PulsePot actually, which is Jacob is the founder of, with his team, is actually delivered, right? And they continue to deliver and build out the roadmap. We're going to talk about that another day. I'm not talking about it today, but that is, look, all these projects. So this nonstop text and token delivered, the ecosystem, and that's what you want people to follow up their actions with words. So, your actions have spoken. You've delivered BNB pot and you've continued to roll it out. And of course, now you got this project. So people have to decide for themselves. Obviously, no, this is a no endorsement thing. You have to decide yourself. That's up to that. But hopefully, you've been able to hear from Jacob a lot more. I'd like to get into some Q&A, but Jacob, you got something to say before?
Yeah, I just want to say that, in some ways, this is just wording salad, right? Because if I had called this a sacrifice and you've gotten some PLS through some sort of magic through a contract, right, then everybody would have been happy. And nobody would have mentioned anything, and I wouldn't have a Twitter storm all over the place. But the fact is that nothing changes. Just because it's sensitive, that I now come out and I put my neck out and I actually commit to this, and I'm going to swap a PLS IOU for one exact PLS. That triggers something deep in people. So it seems to me like we are getting like overly negative attention, even though it's the exact same for anything else that anyone is putting money in during the sacrifice stage, right? So I just think we are hitting some sort of special nerve or some sort of sensitive area here by doing this. But I hope that we can prevail through it, and I want everyone to know that we have the most sincere of intentions with it that you could possibly imagine. Any IOU holder will either get the USDC back in a situation of total collapse, which would be PulseChain not launching. You would get your USDC returned from the pool. If PulseChain launches, you will get one IOU, and nothing will change. That is what is going to happen 100%. And everything that I have promised has so far been delivered for more than actually 2 years now, and I do believe that our team has at least some reputation, so that we should be able to handle what is effectively actually a smaller amount of money than what we are already handling through the entire sacrifice of PulsePot. So just mentioning that as a side fact, that this year is probably peanuts.
At the moment, you are one of 3 teams that have actually delivered a project so far that's done a sacrifice project.
Thank you for that statistic. So, if we're talking about delivery and trust, we should definitely be up there.
And you were first.
And to mention, we build completely unique tech. We have people forking stuff that are not live. Okay, so
well, based on what I've seen out there, I think that you and your team are probably at the front end of the technology stream in our community. So I think that says a lot.
appreciate that.
Appreciate not only were you first, but you're one of three. And I'm thinking of Liquid Loans as PortalX and Internet Money with KG. So it's
that's exclusive club to be in. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
So can I ask you just like completely transparent and just like imagine you're sitting with your dear friend or buddy in a private setting now, and he asks you, what do you think about this PulseChain IOU? I can handle a completely honest answer. I don't want anything less. So are you willing to give me what is your honest opinion about this?
Well, as someone presenting, I would just say that people need to judge on their own, Jacob. I think you can appreciate that.
Of course,
and
the
people
NFA
make up their own decisions. So, I don't want to influence people either way, but I think that people can make up their own mind, and hopefully we've presented a good overview of what it is, what are the drivers, and what people should decide to do. They can decide themselves. I think it's probably the best way of thinking about it, Jacob, from my point of view.
So if we abstract from the price performance, do you see this as beneficial to the ecosystem with a possible a new adoption opportunities?
Like I said at the beginning, I said to you that I expected something like this to come a long time ago. And the closest thing we got from my point of view was the weight token from the Coast team. But that's not a direct PLS swap. So I actually thought this is really cool to see this. And I think the way that you've done it's probably the only way that I can see that you can actually do it. So yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
I think people need to do their due diligence and think about it. I have my own thoughts of it, but I really, I don't really like to, push something one way or the other. Apart from obviously the Richard Hart Maxi channel, so obviously we would push that. But if you follow, if just think about it this way. If normally I talk about mostly probable projects that are probably going to do very well, so people have the best chance rather than too many speculative projects. I do, one or two speculative projects every so often. I think the tokenomics are really good. But apart from that, I think that's kind of where I sit. I'm not going, there's the next 100x coin over here all the time. So yeah. Everything so far, I think it's pretty cool. And people can decide on their own. I really think that's important there. But if you want to pick up some Pulse, this may be one option for you to do. Obviously, the other option is Hex itself. So people can, weigh up those as well.
Yes, and get the valuable copy.
So I think you can understand my view on that point of view, Jacob. But I know that you're an incredible dev, and you've done, like I said to you, you're one of the first 3 projects to launch. You were the first actually to launch other Sacrifice projects. So your actions have backed up your words, and so people can decide from there, really.
Yeah, I think that's a fine way to put it. And I might ask you for your opinion in private after then, if that's okay with you. But I'm just looking for a real feedback from people I know that understand our ecosystem and have engaged themselves as you have with everything for a long time. I evaluate that opinion highly, and that's why I'm asking. So maybe we'll talk about that later.
Sure. Now let's get into the Q&A. So if you've got some questions for Jacob, get them into the chat. We're going to go through the ones that have already been there. And how much longer you got to go, Jacob?
As long as you can keep your eyes open.
Yep. Sweet ass. All right. We'll go through. We'll try and exhaust these questions in the chat there. Get your questions. Doesn't matter what they are. Obviously constructive. I guess it doesn't matter what they are. Constructive questions. And we'll go into that. Remember, this is a no drama channel and a family channel, so just remember that as our defining principles. What else? Let's get into here. I'm just trying to go back to where we were. We got Harmon Deep in House, PLS IOU. Nice. Yeah, well, obviously a lot of people are wanting to pick up Pulse, but they do have another option now, right? So you have Hex, obviously, and we talk about that on this channel, but now you also have PLS IOU, but you need to do your own investment due diligence. Nothing on this channel is financial advice. Now, if you want to get hold of all the links, PSI has posted the Telegram, and you can, the Telegram there if you want to have any more discussions with the team themselves. So that's the team in there as well. Just be careful that you are talking to a team member and not somebody else. What else here? Let me go. Brendan says, is the contract immutable to receive your Pulse tokens when it launches? And I think we've covered that mechanism. So,
well, I think his question is valid because he doesn't talk about the token contract on ETH. I think he means the claim contract on the PulseChain. And I am 90% sure that's the case. Yes, it will be an immutable contract where one party can deposit in and another party can claim if you have the token.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. All right. So hopefully I haven't missed any questions further above that, but that's where I'm starting. I'll jump past PSI's funny comments, but we'll move past that. Christian says, we're in Discord. Can I find the info? We've got all the info under the second chat group, the PulseChain chat group, under useful links in there. It's at the bottom. I just posted it yesterday, all the links there. So you can follow those. It's got all the socials, all the website and everything else. Let me jump through some of that. Let me jump through. Christian says, can we swap ETH for PLS IOU?
Yes, the Uniswap free router can take any value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Uniswap will just route that through. If you want to use other stuff like Matcha probably can do, you just have to post the address in, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. David James in house. Good to see you, David. Let me jump through some of these. Hamin says, yes, you can. Let me see who else I got in here. Right, a lot of stuff around that. I'm going to jump through all those. Tim Top says, doesn't that wreck the concept of PLS launching at zero value? Now we have a taxable start price, says Tim Top. You got any thoughts on that?
Not really. I'm not a tax expert, nor am I a pricing expert. So the only thing we're doing here is just basically offering something for sale that we own and as a completely separate part. But from the perspective of the buyer, I really cannot advise in any way on this.
Yeah. I could make comments, but I'll probably leave it too on that one. PLS will still launch at zero. It will indeed. Let me jump through here. DV says, what happens to the PLS on ETH? PLS IOU on ETH?
We will run an admin key function that will block all swaps, sells, buys, and transfers. So effectively making the token completely dead, and it will just become basically like any other airdrop scam token you have on Ethereum wallet, right? So it's just a dead token with no value.
But then, of course, you'd have to go to the website when the claim is open and then use your tokens to claim, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just the trading that would be stopped, is what you're saying there. Yeah.
No, because the way you are claiming on the PulseChain side, we are blocking it on the ETH side.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Look at it. Because PLS IOU is going to get copied over to PulseChain.
Exactly.
So using the PLS version of PLS IOU to claim. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Just to clarify that. Yeah. Let me jump through some of those. Purely says my ledger won't let me connect the DApp.
Well, we're using the public repository from Uniswap V3 as the swap widget, so I'm not entirely sure where the issue lies, but it's quite it's just a third-party repository. I will take a look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump through some of that. That is the official website if you want to go check that out that we just looked at. PSI says worth addressing all the red flags from Pulse Police. We did that. Jump through some of those. Pineapple Love says, IOU, what the heck is this?
It's a promise on a promise of a no expectation.
Mm-hmm. Brennan has a question. Win-win, better not be backing with my sack money, lol, says Brennan.
So most likely everyone who sacrificed for PulseChain would have done that earlier than they made any project, right? So
Yes, correct. Brazil says promise squared.
yes,
You'd agree
very
with that,
true.
right?
Very true,
That's
Bruce.
true. Yeah. Pineapple Love. I'd love to learn a loan. I'd love to loan my PLS liquid loan. Do you have a link to your video about liquid loan, Superman? Well, it's a long time since the liquid loans one. So they're quite old now. So yeah, not quite sure about your question. That's probably one for the Discord. If you want to get our Discord, Pineapple Love, probably the best place to get into there. Harman Deep says promise to infinity. That's funny. Sandy Beach says, is this safe?
That is the golden question. That is truly the golden question. And obviously, it wouldn't really matter much that I sit here and say, yes, it is safe. But
Yeah.
I do know that it is safe. But there's
Yes.
really no way of me, 100% communicating that to you so that you get, that you can be 100% sure that I'm telling the truth, because how I'm simply too biased. But what I would ask is that if you take a look at least the history, that from our side, what we have, not just completely removing everything from the backers, but just us as an entity, I think that for the amount of USDC this is even going to be about, I think we certainly should have raised the reputation to be able to handle a slightly small pool of USDC. Let's be real.
This is something I can actually answer. So as opposed to PLS IOU, I think people have to make up their own minds based on, hopefully this interview has helped. But you have to make up your own mind, do your own financial due diligence. In terms of Jacob, everything I've seen from Jacob has been absolutely top notch. So that's in terms of street cred from me. You certainly have that.
Thank you.
Your actions have followed up your words, and so in terms of Jacob and your team, I've been pretty impressed with that. So kind of cool there. And let's jump through there. Detached Soul, trusted team, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's where it ends up. It's just like some of the other top teams that we have on here. We trust them, and they earn their street cred, as it were. It's not immutable code, so in the truest sense. So you've got in some cases you're going to have stuff that's not just immutable code. So just the way it goes. Where else we got in here? Hyperbole, I think we answered that one through the ledger. So Jacob's going to look into that. Definitely smash the likes, Detached Soul. Genuine says, think about reputation. If PLS IOU was a scam, what would happen to Win-Win and PulsePot and Founder Reputation? What is their reputation worth to them? Think about it. Yes, and I think you kind of mentioned that backing this, people's got the bit of reputation online. But like I say, one of the teams has actually delivered. The other ones there are looking to deliver. Let's put it that way.
Very good. I love when you put it that way.
Brennan says, a lot of people trusted MCR with liquid loans, and that's not guaranteed either. 100% there, Brennan. Well observed. Let's hope we get to the 7.7 cents, Brennan, on the old Hexy. Just saying, do your own research. Yeah, got to do your own research. It's true on all YouTube channels, right? It's, no matter who you're watching. So just take that into account. Harman Deep says the whole PulseChain system is about trust. Well, yeah, it's going to be delivered. Still got operational issues, but we talk about all the bullish upsides. Hedge price at the top of the cycle, says D-Wave. Yep. What else there? Interviews are cool, says Mixed. They are. And you guys know I don't actually have that many interviews on this channel. So it's only bring on people that I think are cool. So intervals are cool. People are cool. MCR is very trusted, said Sandy Beach. They are indeed, and Sandy Beach is a moderator on their channel and not in this channel. So Sandy would know. Thomas Turner says admin key equals not crypto and real freedom, says Thomas. Let me just jump through some of those. Andrew Reynolds says, I like the idea of PLS IOU, but getting the vibe, trust me, bro. Yeah, it is trust me, bro. Trust me. Like I said, you've got another option now. That's the way I would look at it as well. Not only do you have to do due diligence on it, but hopefully we've pulled out a lot of the themes, the strengths, and all the challenges, perhaps, depending on what you guys think. You have to decide yourself. But you got Hex, now you got PLS IOU. And I did, like I said to you, Jacob, I did expect to see a solution like this a long time ago. So it's probably, if it's coming from you, it's probably one of the better sources as well. I'd say.
Well, I'm sad that you didn't give me the idea earlier then, because I would have executed it immediately if you told me.
Yeah. Well, I have mentioned
that's what we say. That's what we
Jacob,
always say.
I mean, we've been talking about this every day, right? So for almost 2 years or something. So not just on this channel, but on other channels that I've got. It's just one of those. He'd come across all these ideas, right? And you go, oh, imagine if someone did that or this. That's just one of those things.
And it's very common that those that have the right ideas, they don't have the means. That's very,
yes, that's
very
right.
common.
Yeah. Tintop says, I'll just wait till after the launch and buy PLS at a better rate than it would be to sacrifice now. I don't need a middleman, says Tintop. Well, that's your third option, right? So you can buy Hex, you can buy PLS IOU, or you can just wait after the launch. So you have to decide what you.
When you say buy Hex, is that just in a anticipation that it would have price parity, or?
Well, the fact that Hex at the moment is a proxy of a PulseChain, so now you got Pulse IOU as well in that sense. So Hex obviously is Richard Hart's token, and of course it takes into his news feed, his valuation. Excuse me. So it also gets a copy on the PulseChain, and of course people can ratio trade that value. So that's the logic there.
Yeah, okay, so buy Hex now as a proxy investment for PLS because you're going to swap it immediately for real PLS.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think that is definitely a good play as well, yeah. But you wouldn't know, you are up against the native price of PLS against what's the copied version worth, right? So that ratio will be interesting as well.
Mm-hmm. But it's not just that, right? It's also the news value before PulseChain launches, because there is no Pulse coin. Now there is Hex, and now there is PLS IOU. So now there's a second one if you look at it from that point of view. Although obviously Hex is the Richard Hart one, so you got to take that into context too.
Okay. There's multiple ways of going around it, and we are just offering one of those ways. And if anyone sees that as a good way or deems it fit, we're just happy that we can help out.
There is an important difference as well, because the price of PLS IOU is the idea to try and mimic the price of what Pulse will be, as opposed to Hex taking in some of the value expectation or speculation value into PulseChain launch. So
yes,
there's that distinction as well.
There's a lot of stuff going on in comparing those two, definitely.
Christian says, I'm going to see if I can get ETH and get PLS IOU just a few bucks, says Christian. That's another thing that people may want to think about. So if they do like the option and they want to have a little bit of portfolio, they can put a little bit in there. That's one way of doing it. And if you missed out on PulseChain Sacrifice because it's so expensive, no, it's just a waste of time doing it. Is that this may be a good option for you, right?
You get 500 PLS for $1, right? And if this is a fork of Ethereum and you sit there and look at the Ethereum price at $2,000, right? I know that technically a PLS would never be able to possibly reach $2,000, but certainly when mass adoption happens, I think there's some sort of unit bias that would go on where the fact that it's so small numbers, like $1 for 500 PLS units, and it's a fork of Ethereum, just that in itself is like the risk and what I'm getting from it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do it because it's a possible way to get in.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, I'm surprised it hasn't been done a long time ago. That's probably the way I put it.
Finally.
Yeah. But so people got to think about how to do it, right? And I think that you've done it inside a week. So I don't know, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. So it's a guaranteed buy price and versus unknown price is genuine.
Just the same as the sacrifice itself.
Yeah. Scott Jackson says, "Awesome, Jacob." Well, there we are. It's a nice comment there.
Thank you, sir.
Christian says, "Superman, can you ask if we can swap ETH for PLS IOU, or has it already?" We answered that for you earlier there, Christian.
Yes is the answer. You can swap anything of value.
Yeah. Let me jump through that. Brillo says, "This is better than money. It's an IOU," says Briz. That's a quote.
It sounds funny, but I'm not entirely sure I understand it.
Yeah. It's got it in quotes as well, so I don't know whether that's your quotes, Briz, but yes. Andrew says, "That's a good point. Pulse PulseBot Sacrifice was many X's bigger than IOU. Yeah. Well, it got up to 31x, didn't it, on the PulseBot at near the beginning launch, which is typical in crypto. Not typical to get 31x, but to have a nice rally at the start. I would love to get you on to talk about BNB pot and all that sort of stuff separately. In the
definitely.
future. So
we have you guys are new ready, games coming up, so that would be a nice time to do it.
When you guys are ready, I'd like to do a full show on that. That'd be cool. Like a dedicated show. That'd be nice. Brennan says, what's 20x on the way to 1000x, says Brennan. I like how you're thinking there, Brennan. Pineapple Love, how does this work? Pulse IOU, Brazil, I stake my pulse. No.
Stake my IOU? Do we want to make yield? No, actually, I was contacted by some of these liquidity providers. I have a interesting story for you, Hex Token, okay? And I would love your take on this as well. So what they were basically suggesting me was that why don't we make a collaboration where we will issue a sacrifice token from our project if you were a holder of the IOU token. So imagine you buy Pulse IOU. When that gets copied over and you redeem, in fact, you are now maybe involved in 15 different sacrifice projects because they would attribute a small amount of their sacrifice supply to those who buy the IOU. So by buying one token, you would get multiple entrances into a vast amount of very different projects. It could be almost like an investment portfolio where you remove your own BS from selecting, but you are still investing in a group of products plus getting the native PLS. So it becomes this group investment. I think that could be an interesting narrative on pushing the price up.
I think anything like that is always awesome, and I think that's what you see happening in the Zen community with Jack Levin. They're trying to do similar sort of ideas to that. I think that would be a real boom. The only comment I would make about that is then you are adding in other value layers on top of the Pulse price here and for Pulse IOU.
Definitely, but also more risk because now we not only do we need to provide the PLS, now we have 15 tokens we need to provide. So obviously, the more angles of supply we need to handle, the more risk would naturally be involved, I would say.
I agree with that, but I think that once you start adding in other value parts of the pies, once you add more value, aren't you arguably getting away from the market perception of Pulse price that's sort of getting built into the Pulse IOU?
Well, I think that's kind of the psychology that we would like, but I don't think the majority would buy that because everyone knows that the single-sided V3 is set up in a way where it can literally never trade below 0.002. So except if someone provides liquidity at a loss, which will not happen. So what's interesting there is that is this chart real? Is it not real? Is it manipulated? You know, that I think you could look at it many interesting angles. Here's just a supply. Do you want to buy it or not? And it's rising in price, right?
Manipulated to the upside.
Scam to the upside, as we say.
Scam to the upside, yes. Another Jack Levin comment, isn't it? Yeah. Scam to the upside. But yeah, honestly, if obviously that's all just a upside plus, but as you say, then there's also the deliver, which is you got to deliver on the value additions. But yeah, obviously that's anything you build on top of it's going to be a plus, right?
Absolutely, and if everyone just thought as the new sacrifice project, basically, we're just number 160 project now launching, and you can sacrifice for this coin, nobody would bat an eye, and nobody would rage on Twitter and go full out forces in trying to FUD it out, right? Because it's the exact same thing. Just treat it as a sacrifice. You are investing in something, and you hope of getting something to return. In this case, we're just returning Pulse to you, and you are buying it now. That's in fact how simple it is, and it would be comparable to any other token that has a sacrifice phase.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I have actually got some ideas for you that I'd like to talk to you about after the live stream. So
okay, I would love to hear it.
We're going to talk about that because I'd like to see them come to PulseChain or something like that. Anyway, Abby G says the reputation and support of the backers is vital. Hopefully the backers publicly tweet their support for PLS IOU. That's very important. I agree with you on that, Happy G. Instead of leaving him to fight the FUD on his own. Wishing you success, says Happy G. So what's your thoughts on that comment? That's actually a very good one.
Yeah, my thoughts are that it's spot on. I'm losing baggers left, right, and center. I think because the FUD is so extreme on the short term, but we will fight through it. I can answer every single question, and I have absolutely no moral or ethic issues. So I know what's going to happen, and so I have no concern in the world. We are just delivering a technical product, and we are going to execute it just like we executed every single time we did in the past. In
That's
fact,
right.
what we're doing here is mere percentages in value of what we have delivered many times before. So for me, this entire storm of FUD is just almost at an entertaining level, I would honestly say.
I honestly, people can make up their mind about PLS IOU. That's up to them. But I think that if you're backing, I back Richard Hart, I back Jacob here as the person. So based on what I've seen, the actions follow up the words. The words are always inspiring, and the delivery is always class act. So people have to make up their mind. I mean, it's kind of where you are. Obviously, all the sacrifice teams are the same, all of them. I can't really see any difference between that, because not just because of the way the contract's set up for this context, a specific context, want to be very clear about that, but also the fact that people still have to deliver, which is actually riskier in many ways. So
Yes,
yeah, there's lots of pros and cons people need to think about. But there we are. Hashtag family channel, no drama. Yeah, sorry, Jacob.
No, I was just confirming what you were saying, basically. Sorry, go on.
Tomboss says, man, I'd be happy if one day the price of PLS equals the PLS IOU is prices right now. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. 20x. Great stream, says Hammond Deep. It certainly is. As Jacob knows, I've been wanting to get Jacob on for a while. But I was going to be talking about BNB pot, which we'll do separately, hopefully, in the future.
Yep, absolutely.
Happy G says, suggestion perhaps add latest PLS SAC transactions to the website and show dollar SAC rate they got versus current PLS IOU rate.
That is not really possible, because there's multiply bonuses, and there's also the time constraint, but also there's all of the extremely late SACs that
that's what they
have
get into.
that's what have an incredibly bad rate. Yeah.
But that might be an interesting idea. Is what if you did the basic? If you did the sacrifice now, what would you get versus?
Oh, sorry, I didn't read latest. I thought it was the average he meant. So that is a different. Yeah, that makes sense, because then you are getting a very good price on the IOU.
I think that's the key one there, and I think that's a good point ABG's making there. So that'd be really useful on the website.
But honestly, my worry for that is I really don't want to play this out against Richard Hart, right? Like, he's offering someone to sacrifice for $8 a PLS right now, and now I'm suddenly offering someone to sacrifice for 500 times less. So I don't want to compete with him in any way.
But remember that he officially closed off the sacrifices on the I think it was the 5th of April last year, and people were sacking anyway, right?
Yeah, because he said that it would be open until the mainnet fork, almost.
I don't recall that, all I know is that officially it was supposed to close the 5th of April last year for both PulseX and PulseChain.
So do you think that every single dollar that came in after that day,
I think he's going to honor it? No, he's going to honor it all. He's going to honor it all.
I think so as well.
Yeah. But that's because people will just keep going, right? Let's keep going. So
yeah, and that's what creates the demand that we see for this, because we think that there's such a big amount of people that would like to have had the opportunity to get in, but now the opportunity that's available for them is simply outrageous, right? So I think they deserve a slightly better, if not significantly better, opportunity.
Yeah. Detached Soul says, what happens if you miss the snapshot? Will you do a manual copy to PulseChain?
If I miss it, or do you mean if Richard blocks it?
If you miss the snapshot, will you do? I guess that's what he's saying. I guess maybe not copying over PLS IOU. I guess that's what he's meaning there.
My guess is that he believes the IOU token wouldn't be a part of the snapshot, but I'm quite sure they're not sitting there and manually saying in and out.
I don't think have we seen that? I don't know if we've seen
Yeah,
anything.
that will happen. There will be
Yeah,
certain addresses that will be taken out for sure.
yeah, scam
Uh,
contracts.
yeah,
Typical.
they're very
Yeah,
obvious phishing and scam contracts. They probably have some
yeah,
sort of
there's
archive
loads of
over
them.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but a token like this, if this get left out, it would have been a manual enforced action by Richard himself. So let's assume that happens, right?
Well, it won't get harvested either, right? Because there's no wrapped ETH in it. It's a USDC pool.
Sorry, what?
It won't get harvested by the AMM pot either because it's a USDC pool.
Yeah, but that's doesn't really matter since the USDC is not backed on PulseChain. But we could have set up the liquidity with DAI, and then it would be an entire different speculation.
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
All right, let's have a look here. Phil says draws dropped slightly as the confusion and misunderstanding on PLS IOU. It's actually a very simple concept and it's based on the age-old idea of buying something now that will be worth more in the future.
True.
What drunk Lenny's in there? Remember, this is a no drama channel, so if you could delete that comment by drunk Lenny there. This is a no drama channel. I don't like that sort of comments. Hex streams all day. Yeah, we're definitely streaming all day. HH with the super sticker. Appreciate that. Let me just jump in there. Tim Top says on Pulse, please. Telegram eFiat has no red flags and and 3 poop emoji. What? has no red flags and 3 poop emoji. PLS IOU has 3 red flags but only 6 poop emoji. Only 2-to-1 ratio isn't that bad. Says that's pretty funny.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Like I said to you, I think that people didn't think about you and your team and what you guys have delivered. They just went and fudged the contract too quickly, and I think they rushed into that. And you know what they can be like. Twitter's pretty fierce when they do this.
I think the fact that our Twitter account is still up and running it's honestly a surprise to me, because that would be the 3rd time we would be reported out of losing a Twitter account. Just by hexagons assuming something. So I'm surprised it's still running.
Phil says, I think I would think of PLS IOU as something like a futures contract. That's a hedge for those who won't have PLS at the launch. That's true. That is true. That's probably one of the advantages. Hex, a way to get Pulse at 20x rate, but before the bridge. Yeah, that's building on that theme. Good point there, Hex Huddle. I hope the 20x rate helps pull the PLS price up from the get-go. Well, that's an interesting ploy. What do you think of that, Jacob?
I think that it would require an amazing amount of volume for it to ever be relevant, and that's in context, I think.
Yeah. I agree with that. Crypto Tycoon says, let's give it a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Brennan says, how many tokens are in supply? Well, we've
1 billion.
1 billion. We've got that here. Actually, we got it on here. So that is the total supply of PLS IOU. And you can see that. I've got all the links in the Discord and useful links if people want to check it out. All the socials, all the official website, and the DEX trading and everything else. 1 billion. 1 billion says, yeah. Oh, I've lost Jacob. What the heck? Where's Jacob go? Jacob, come back. There is Jacob.
Yep, I'm here.
Did you actually hear that? Hopefully, I'm not sure. You disappeared from the screen when I switched.
I heard it.
PulseChain says this is like Maximus, but for PLS. Yeah, I guess it is in so much.
No, I would. That is probably not a good comparison.
Not a good analogy.
No, because the Maximus contract, as far as I'm considered, is in fact decentralized in that way that anyone will be able to call the distribute function at the 15-year term. So I think, thank you for the attempt, but honestly, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah. I was thinking about it from I don't know what I was thinking about it, but more like it from an ownership point of view. But yeah, never mind. But with an admin key, yeah.
Yes, that's true.
The previous quote that Brazology had the quote was from Dumber and Dumber when they spend all the money and write IOUs on napkins. I know it's hilarious. And I remember him spending it on the stairwell at Aspen. Remember the big place he was handing out the dollars to all the bellboys, and then of course the other dumber guy comes across and he's waiting for his money too. That's hilarious. Giving out like $100. Yeah, great movie. Hexol says, but it's kind of necessary here, but may have been a way to program it on an immutable way. Like you guys would have thought about that already, right? So there's no.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, the only way to have done that would have been if we launched this before the sacrifice phase started on PulseChain, because in that scenario we could have deployed a contract on Ethereum where a lot of people would have deposited value, and then when that would have gotten copied over, then we could have distributed it in a more decentralized way. So basically securing the supply by the liquidity providers depositing it on beforehand, before even issuing this, right? You would see that there was a smart contract that has this amount of value backing it. As you would have made a sacrifice. So basically, instead of making a sacrifice to the main wallet, you would have made a sacrifice to this contract so that you could see the same amount of value was put in it.
Right.
So that's kind of the way that it could have been done. But the fact of the matter is that we got this idea like 10 days ago, and we worked, large team worked hard on executing it pretty quickly, because time is sensitive if we have to believe that PulseChain is imminent, right? So we wanted to just get it deployed as soon as possible, and then get back to work on the PLSP and BNPP.
Yeah. Nothing but buys in the past 5 hours. I guess I think you're talking about this PLS.
I think if we're looking at only buyers on the chart in a moment of time where there is so much FUD going around, I guess that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, I think that it's just like anything. I mean, hopefully this interview helps people, be a resource for people. I will clip out most of this interview later on when it uploads fully, but with the right titles for YouTube. But it's got this people get comfortable with it and they see it as just one of the options that they have. Obviously, then they've got we'll probably see this pick up, is my guess.
Yeah, but watch out mentioning it on your Twitter Hex token, because you'll get sucked into the FUD circle and you'll get accused of absolutely outrageous things in real time.
No, I normally just operate more controversial stuff. I typically just operate on YouTube.
Okay, good.
If you see my Twitter feed, you'll see very clearly that there's a lot of topics that I cover on YouTube that are not on there.
Okay,
because I'm well aware of some of the group on Twitter, how they operate. That's why we operate on YouTube. What else? Let me just jump through that. Alex says, where are we predicted to hit on price on Ether? Don't know.
Well, hopefully up, because that would be beautiful.
Thomas Turner says, any coin at this point launched on PLS must airdrop. SAC is a long game. And just jump over to here. Brendan says, thanks, Jacob, for coming on, and Superman for hosting. You're welcome.
My pleasure, sir.
We got Get Hex in the house. Good to see you. North Face as well. Hi, everybody. Now, Brendan says, I don't think he should honor them. Sorry for people that did after that, but an early follower should be rewarded for the latecomers, I say in respect. I can't remember what that's referring to. HH, just a thank you for the stream, Hex Token. You're welcome, HH. Appreciate that. Big shout out. Now, thank you, Superman. Great interview, says Lion Wings. Nice. Been meaning to have Jacob on for a long time, Jacob? It's been good. You guys were on holiday for a month, though. Why on Pulse Police? Pulse Police Review. You got the contract. Deploy received. Yeah. We talked about that. It's already covered that earlier. Own admin key can mint unlimited. You ever talked about all that? The 007?
I'll just give the very, very short answer is that we need it to fulfill our obligations. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're necessary to be used. Yeah, when Pulse launches. Yeah. So I think most people seem to get it in the chat here. lot of the regulars in our chat, so that's kind of cool. Phil, we're almost up to date here with the comments. The chart heavily represents traders buying thousands in the first seconds, then selling for 5 to 10% profit. You're welcome to crypto, I guess. It's $7. Okay, I get late. We could inform the Pulse, please. Well, no, Jacob actually had a conversation, didn't you, Jacob, with the Pulse police just before coming on this live stream?
Absolutely. They didn't promise anything, and there might nothing change, but at least I think I was able to provide a little bit of context to it, and I think sometimes it does deserve that. I fully understand they have a very strict protocol for doing this with good reasoning, but I believe it deserves a little bit of context, and we will see if they decide to update it with that or not, and that's entirely up to them. I would expect it either way.
Yeah, I think that was important. I think they should give context around the PLS IOU, and I think they should give the mechanics, and I think they should give context around yourself and your team, what you guys have delivered as well. I think they should do a bit of that there too. So hopefully, I don't know who the Pulse police are, but if they're watching, hopefully this interview's helped also. YouTuber user says, tell RH to hurry. Yeah, well, we just want them to do it in good time, RH. We've waited this long. We just want operational risk to be gone and to launch with the best possible product, which Richard typically focuses on. So I think we've still got plenty of patience, but it's definitely getting closer and closer. So on the Pulse chain, talking about there. Now, where was I going to head there? So that's pretty much all the comments. Like I say, let's just quickly go through all the sites so that you guys can see all the sites that are up at the moment. So this is the, so let me just close out there. Oh, I just closed the price up. That was the price chart. This is the contract. It's got this OXA4 ends in 24EF. And of course, you can see the holders there. Obviously, that's the wallet that's got all the PLS IOU tokens in it. And of course, as people buy them, the minimum price is 0.002. Got it right this time. And if people buy it, then that wallet will go down, and all the holders, the users that are holding it, will go up. And you can see there's some decent holders in here. So all these holders that we can see, Jacob, they're all the people that have purchased.
Yes, because all of the supply was minted only for sale. So the only way that you can have it is by buying it.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Let's see how many holders there are at the moment. There are 68 holders, so up 3 since I last refreshed. So 68 holders, so that's kind of cool. This is the official website, which is PulseChain-IOU.com. Now, all the links are now useful links under PulseChain chat in our Discord. And you can see that it's got the backers down here. It's got some questions, FAQ, if you want to go through all those. And of course, it's got you can buy some PLS IOU on the website. The claim won't be open. This claim feature won't be open until PulseChain launches and the backers provide their pulse and stuff like that. Right, Jacob?
Correct.
And here is the Twitter account for PulseChain IOU. Now, all the socials are in the useful links, as I say, on Discord. And I will probably post them in the video when I edit this and put that up separately, so that YouTube algorithm picks up the PulseChain IOU. And that there was a picture of the Pulse police, but like I say, Jacob has talked to them. He's just mentioned that earlier to address these issues, provide more context. So hopefully they'll update their review. And then, of course, Jacob, if you do not know, is him and his team are the founder of BNB Pot, the first Sacrifice project to actually launch a product on the BNB chain, and of course going to be multiple EVM chains eventually, and of course one of the most successful Sacrifice projects as well in terms of dollars raised, and of course this is the project delivered, and I love it when people say something and then deliver it. That's kind of the way it goes.
We have full intention to continue to do that, and you will see day one on mainnet, everyone will swap their PLS, and I will look forward to the day.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the interview, and I appreciate big time you coming on there, Jacob. And I do want to get you on around BNB Pot when you guys are ready for a full live stream. We'll get on, and feel free to bring any of your other teams or
we're currently just finalizing 2 more decentralized games, and we are just putting on the last details. So that would be a great conversation we could say for another stream where it's more directed towards the BNBP PLSP ecosystem. I would love to do that because these games, we've spent a lot of time on them, and I truly believe that they will be remarkable. Also with the partnerships we have coming in on these, where we are actually going to do lotteries branded for different projects, because what's come to our attention is that when you have a tax token, which is 90% of all tokens on BNB, when you have a tax token, what you need is activity. That's how the ecosystem derives its value, because that's what generates the tax.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
so what do you think happens when someone can offer you decentralized gambling tech that you can put in front of a tax token? Now we are offering lotteries just like PancakeSwap does, but every single tax token project can have their own lottery that every single day pay out a large sum in that tax token, but it generated value all the way through because everyone had to enter it and get it paid out and all of that. So it's just an activity gimmick that you are duct taping on top of a tax token. And we are in talks with between 5 to 10 different projects that want this lottery tech that we are developing. So
Yeah,
it's like
excited about that, man.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's a you have. I think I said on a previous live stream, you have two ways of getting that volume, getting that traffic, and it's either direct marketing sort of thing or doing these partnerships. And I think this is a much easier route to go through, and it's very exciting that they're also coming to you, which is a big kudos to you and your team. As I say, I think you guys are really at the front end of the innovators, technology, smarts, and PulseChain ecosystem in particular.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, I'm just going to read these final comments. We're going to get into the Hex Daily stats, so we'll just read these off before Jacob goes off to work hard on whatever he's doing next. Hexforce1 says, thanks for your time, Jacob. Good luck to see you, and it is needed for new people just learning about PulseChain. Yeah, we have a lot of people that come and say, how can I sacrifice for PulseChain? They're still sacrificing, and this is one option they now have, is PLS IOU. So,
and thank you for your time as well, and letting me attempt to entertain and educate you for a short period of time. Thank you for that opportunity. I truly appreciate it. I hope it wasn't boring. Every day we are building and we're trying to do our best to help this ecosystem grow. We have the purest of intentions, and when everyone swaps this token for one PLS, you'll realize that we have never done anything else than deliver on what we promise, and we will never fail to do so. That's who we are, and that's what we will continue to be.
That's awesome. Inspired. Hexon PLS LP needs to be disabled right after launch of PLS 20 copies so they can get their money out for PLS provided.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, I will jump off here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And, if anyone here believes that we have the truest of intentions, you could really help us out by, engaging in some of this baseless FUD, maybe, bringing your opinion to life. We will accept all opinions and all viewpoints, and we will discuss it, and we will answer any question you may have. But we could really need some support, because right now I truly believe that a lot of people who do not even spend 2 minutes even considering the aspects of this, they are just going out in full force and trying to kill what our honest intentions are. We want to help PulseChain, and right now we honestly don't feel like that's what we're doing, the way we are getting treated. So just a small plea for anyone that you can really help us if you want to put a couple of nice words out there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very good, very good. Thanks, Jacob, and we'll talk to you again soon. Cheers.
Okay, have a good day, man. Bye.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into it. We're on the final bit here, so let's go to gold, and we're going to get out of there. We're going to get Hex Daily stats. Like I said, all the links to PLS IOU as one option that you can consider is in our useful links in our Discord under PulseChain chat. You can definitely go and check that out. Cool. Thank you, says Sandy Beach. Nice. Let me have a look here. Right, let's have a look here. We've got day 1229 of the press. We're at 14th of April 2023. The price is down 1.9% here for Hex. 7.35 cents is the snapshot. We've got the Hex payout is pretty gorgeous as again. I'm just loving how this is slowly creeping up to the right, which is 6.448. The share rate is up at 6.4, up to 26,837, and the share price there at 1,973. Average mining length there, people that are mining T-shares with the T-shares is 6.93 years. APY is 38.19%. Liquid in the pool has gone up from 108 million Hex to 114.6 million. And USD in the pool there just over $4.25 million with 529 ETH. Let's see what else. T-share pool, the ownership pool has gone up 864. It's been going down quite dramatically over the last 10 days, you guys can see. We're sitting at 10,024,216. Will we get under 10 million by the end of, by the end of April or by the mid-May? It looks like we're going to have potentially get there. We've got lots of those large T-share miners all coming out over the next few weeks. A lot of them keep restaking like 7 days, I think. What else have we got going there? Lock percentage of coins, 9.53% of all Hex is locked. And of course, the penalties today really low today. Man, look how low that is. 151,000 in Hex penalties, but the payout continues to be like a boss, just under 65 million Hex a day. And of course, the more T-shares have, the more of that you get. Current holders up 19 to 330,838. The T-share miners is up 9 to 120,607. Total holders up 215 to 552,167. That's day 1229 on the Hex journey. We're on day 1230, and we've got the payout sitting around about 6.438 Hex per T-share. Of course, you can check out hex.com in the video description and get those T-shares. Make sure you do your due diligence, your financial due diligence. Nothing on this channel is a financial advice, of course, but man, exciting. Now, obviously, Hex is also a proxy for PulseChain. I always say that. And you also get a copy on the Ethereum chain, on the Pulse chain from Ethereum. So it really is pretty cool for that. But now, of course, you have other options. You can now get PLS IOUs, or you can wait till Pulse chain launches, ratio trade some of your copies, or ratio trade your Hex that you buy, or buy more Pulse, buy more Hex with fiat. You've got so many options to get in early. But as you generally know, getting in early on big giant ecosystems like PulseChain when it drops, typically accumulating in the first year, 18 months is typically pretty good. Particularly the earlier the better, right? And you get to enjoy that upside, particularly with all the supercharged tokenomics and economic engines that in PulseChain is going to be so much fun. And nice to see Jacob and his team continue to contribute to trying to make that even more bullish, which is pretty cool. All right, let's wrap up with some of the comments. With 2 hours and 7 minutes. Yeah, we pumped out a massive live stream today. Pretty cool. What else we got here? Let's see where we're going here. Brennan says if PLS Hex launches at 20x, I'll be happy, fella. Hexodl says that is a good use case if it all works out, says Hexodl. Indeed. Tim Top says those that miss Sacrifice have at least an option now. I'll just wait till bridge is open and catch any dips. Yes, I agree with that. Tim Top. Dan Dog says I would like to see you have Conrad Zen on with Pulse Zen supports PulseChain. Yeah, but Dan Dog, I still have a question about the PZen. Why would you create that with regards to when you already got Hex? This is my problem with that. Obviously Conrad's been a huge supporter of PulseChain. I just couldn't quite get the idea of why he did that. I still haven't seen a good reason, but feel free to hit me up with a good reason for that. I still just can't think of it myself. I'm all for people launching new products and stuff if it has a kind of use case. Yeah, just the way it goes. Hexol says PZN has today 3 transactions. Yeah. So yeah, my thing was when I did some modeling on it, I kind of had 2-3 cents as kind of which would make it worth it, as opposed to doing other passive forms of income. Within that risk return trade-off. So it's just kind of where we are. So Brendan says, thanks for the suit man for the alpha. You're welcome, Brendan. Always a pleasure. And Hexholder said for a reflection token, it's like no yield. Yeah, so just take that into account. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. And don't forget to get into our Discord. It keeps going. You can get in there and chat with the awesome community. We've got all the links, as I say, to PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, and all the PulseChain projects, including PLS IOU there. And of course, remember always to do your own due diligence on everything. This is crypto after all, but it's getting increasing value over time is my expectation. And we're in the best gold, Richard Hart's products are the gold standard of crypto. Just remember that all the time. This is a maxi channel. And we like to, talk about some of these other new innovations because, hey, we're in crypto and that's what we do. All right. That's all right. Let's wrap out of here. Peace out, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And I'll catch you guys all later on. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
Yeah.